I'm Vanessa Kinsey, and this is another episode of Loves and Losses. Today I'm here with my friend Tiffany, and she is going to share her story with us today.
It was definitely one of the most formative things that's happened to me, but I do feel like I have that empathy to be able to come alongside people that are going through the same thing.
Do you have any particularly fond memories of you and your dad?
Yeah, I have a lot. I think one of the ones that is the most tender to me, and I still have a picture of in my spare room in my house, is the father-daughter dance that we had for Girl Scouts and that he took me to. My parents were really busy, not in a neglectful way, but I think that the memories that I hold most dear are when they took time out of their schedule to do something, kind of silly and sweet. So just the fact that he got dressed up and came to my elementary school cafeteria, and I still remember I was obsessed with all things Asian culture. I think it was like a product of the early 90s. That thing was kind of coming in, the hair sticks and that. So I had the hair sticks in my hair in a bun and this red kind of Mandarin inspired dress, and I felt so fancy, and it was totally not his style. Like at weddings, he was never the one that would, dance or do anything sweet. I never remember seeing him dance with my mother, so I just remember feeling so special that he took me to this dance, and he was so tall that I stood on his feet, and we just danced the night away.
So, talk to me a little bit about your relationship with your dad growing up.
I was a daddy's girl. And he was 6'5" and kind of gruff on the exterior, very intimidating to people that didn't know him, but he was a huge teddy bear on the inside, which I think was a part of himself that he really didn't reveal to very many people, and those of us that were on the inside really had a special treat because he was a total clown. Played a lot of practical jokes on people, had us in stitches all the time. He was a really great lay musician, not a trained baritone, but had this gorgeous baritone voice. Sang lead in this gospel choir for years that my mother and I followed around like groupies. So those are a lot of my fond memories. I definitely got my love of music and of singing from my father, and actually one of the first things that he did when we moved to our house in Clarksville, and this piano truck comes rolling up, and my father had bought me this grand piano, and it came in and sat in the bay window of our new house, completely unbeknownst to my mother. It was a surprise to everyone. That was my first special prize gift that I got from my father.
So, how old were you when your father passed away?
I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was 16 years ago, actually, last month that he passed away.
Wow. What happened?
He had meningitis.
Okay.
And so he got sick, I want to say in January or February. And then he was gone by October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell me a little bit about the situation, like where your father got sick and how you found out about it?
I don't know where he got sick. I don't know how he got sick. I mean, he was we were at home. I was in my own little adolescent world. I think I was 15 at the time and more focused on, getting ready to drive than anything else that was going on, and probably some boy drama. And so my parents, they told me that he was sick, but they didn't make really a big deal out of it. And I was a big music nerd, and it was a huge year for me. I was going on these 3 music trips. I was singing in Disney World, and then we were competing in Myrtle Beach, and then I was going on this huge trip in to France and Switzerland to play jazz piano with my jazz band over the summer. And my parents still, I can't believe, I would look back and I could not believe that they let me go on all of those things. And I felt, after the fact, really resentful rather than thankful, you know, that I felt like I was robbed of that last little bit of time that I could have had with him gallivanting all over the country and, like, you know, not paying attention to what was going on at home, because they just didn't make a big deal out of it and really underplayed just how sick he was. I think that part of it was also that, like, no one really believed how sick he was, because he was a hypochondriac that basically foretold his own death for the entire time that I was alive. So we were like, yeah, Jesse, whatever, you're gonna die. I mean, you've been talking about dying since the day that I was born, so we're all gonna die. Of course you're gonna die one of these days, but not anytime soon. So, so yeah, it was really, I didn't have a really full understanding of just how sick he was until probably about 3 weeks before he passed away. And we were at the hospital and my mother told me that he was gonna die. And I was in just complete shock and disbelief, and I actually never went back to the hospital to visit him. I was so furious with both of them for, like, waiting that long to divulge that information to me, where I felt like I would have had a different outlook on the last 7 or 8 months of our time together had I been working with them, you know, the full picture. But looking back on it now as a parent, like, I know that no parent would do that maliciously. You know, they were working with you know, the best equipment that they knew how to work with to, you know, parent me to the best of their abilities. So
were you very close to him? Like,
yeah, incredibly. Yeah, I was utterly devastated for a long time, and I felt like pretty dead inside for like years afterwards. It was and even now, like, my husband remarks just how unremarkably unfazed both my mother and I seem by the whole thing. Like, she's completely unsentimental about the fact that she was married to someone for 25 years and, you know, that she built a family with him. She doesn't speak ill of him. Of course she, you know, I think thinks fondly, but not without any, you know, forgetting of the tough times that they had, but is completely kind of unsentimental about it. So yeah, he died on a Sunday, and I didn't go to school for 3 weeks, and we, like, did a lot of retail therapy. Like, we went shopping a lot and I eulogized him, and people, like, remarked, like, just how grown up and poignant the things that I said about the things that I said at his funeral. And then one day I just decided I was going to go on, like, living my life, and I went back to school and just, like, picked up with senior year and graduated, and, you know.
I'm going to go back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you said that when you found out, you didn't go back to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
did you never see him?
I never saw him alive again. Yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
I don't want to say that I live with regret. Like, you know, I just have to own that that was the way that I dealt with that then. And he really wasn't with it. He was in those last couple of weeks. So it's not like I missed time that I would have been spending with him or talking to him. I think that he was in and out of a coma at the end. You know, I basically would have just been sitting vigil in a hospital. I feel like I got 16 good years out of a relationship with him that I actually prefer the end of it not being colored with just staring at my father in a coma in a hospital room. But
do you have a strong sense of why you chose not to go back? Like, do you know why you did that? Why you made that choice?
Oh, I think that I've been a chronic avoider for my entire life. You know, will work through things if I'm forced to work through things, or but I'm not super great with conflict. I don't fight well, and I was really, I think that was probably the first time in my life that I felt fundamentally betrayed, and so I think it was just, I'm not good with conflict, working things out, and I was avoiding the information that my mother gave me that, my father wasn't coming out of the hospital, so.
So moving past that, you say you just picked up and decided to live your life.
Yeah.
How did it affect you longer term?
I was not really good at relationships for a long time with anybody, like, not just romantically. I think that, and emotional intimacy is something that I still really struggle with, letting anybody get close enough to me to allow me to like let down my barriers. And I mean, there are people in my life, of course, that do get that close to me, but I think for a long time I was very, very guarded. I was very angry, and I held on to things really, really tight. I held grudges really tight, just everything. I felt every single tiny injustice and took it, escalated all of them, probably way farther than remotely appropriate. So yeah, and I think that I never saw a therapist or worked through anything with any sort of professional help. So, and not to say that I wouldn't benefit from that now, but I think that it took a long time for me to just organically through life work through a lot of the hurt and betrayal that came from that whole situation.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm coming out on the other side finally.
Yeah.
It took 16 years.
Well, it wasn't exactly a small thing.
Mm-mm. Yeah, no, it was definitely one of the most formative things that's happened to me. But I do feel like I have that empathy to be able to come alongside people that are going through the same thing. And now that I am a little older, there are far more of my friends that have, lost someone that's really close to them, whether it's a parent or some other sort of loved one. And I think that people really don't know what to say in those times or how to feel. And there's never any great thing to say, but when you've been through something like that, you at least have a better understanding of how to be around somebody. And sometimes that's just what people need. They just need people to be around them without all of the other junk that comes with all of the awkwardness of how do I talk to someone who's just been through this life trauma.
Expectation.
Right.
I have to ask you how this affected your relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
At least initially.
It was very tenuous. I mean, I think that in the initial loss, we clung to one another because that's who we had. But there was definitely a breakdown of trust for a long time that I think has just started to rebuild itself as with each milestone that we go through together. I think that a little bit more builds up where that gaping scar was, but so I would say that it's mostly repaired, that we have a new relationship. We've definitely come out on the other side, and she's my ride or die. I think that it was milestone moments that I really missed my father the most, and not just in my relationship with my husband, just graduation and prom and life, buying a house, and meeting the man that I'm going to marry, and marrying my husband, and my father not being there. I think those are the times that I feel that loss in a really profound way. And the rest of the time, it's just kind of this thing that I carry with me. And a couple of times when we've had tough conversations, when we've had arguments, or and my husband will get frustrated with just sometimes my inability to relate in a rational way. He has sometimes accredited that to me never having fully worked through the loss of my father, but sometimes I think that's a cop-out. Sometimes I think maybe there is some validity to it, but so I would say that he probably recognizes it more than I do. I don't, it's not something that I feel on a daily basis, but I definitely when those big milestone life things happen, I wish that he were, here on earth to see it. It's one of those things that it is nice being a person of faith, like not feeling completely like lost and hopeless and like this is all that there is to it, but yeah, so hopefully it's not affecting me too much other than just coloring and shaping the person that I am today, which I would like to think that I'm getting better with age. But I definitely do carry that love of music with me through my life, as that's a little kind of reminder that my father is always with me.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's
That's
yeah.
it.
I love it though.
I just want to thank you, Tiffany, for taking the time to share your story with us tonight, and I hope that you have gotten something out of it. Make sure to check us out next time as we continue to explore stories of love and loss.